It's Real Fit Radio with B
and J.LOU.
If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody.
Well, I've got an interesting topic for us today. Before that, how you doing? You look like you a little tired. The fires have died down, or at least the smog looks like we're kind of getting rid of it.
You know, the sky looks pretty clear. It's obviously not to the pristine shape that it should be in, but it's a hell of a lot better than the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, considering.
Easier to breathe.
Well, we do still wear masks, so yeah, I'm not going to even jump into that. But the smog that was created from the fires and just the sky looking crazy, it's clearing up. So yay. And we still are dealing with the COVID numbers and stuff. Hopefully the gym will be opening soon, but there it is. We don't have to go into that. There's enough of that every day on the news, on social media. We're not going to get into that. We're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. And I have a question for you. There's not even a title for this podcast yet. It's just like how I've been feeling. So, you know, when you like have had it up to here with individuals or certain situations that continue to happen to you repeatedly, and it doesn't have to be with the same person, and you just keep on like, you know what, I'm just going to cut this off, or I'm not even about to address this because they have to know that this is wrong on every level. So you just keep scaling it back. This is not even worth my energy or my words. I'm done with it. At what point do you become a consuming fire? And when I say consuming fire, it's like, when do you just let them have it? Read them their rights, let them know exactly what's going on, what they've done, and a level of disrespect, whether it was intentional or not. Like how you put a puppy's face when they pee. And it's like, you don't do this, don't do this. At what point do you do that? I don't even know again what this title could be, but I'm at the point where... Breaking point. Yes, but it's just like, I'm ready to be that consuming fire because I feel like at this stage of my life, I'm handicapping some people because they get off so scot-free and they're left to their assumptions, which sometimes are bullshit because you see them doing this stuff, especially when you see somebody do something, not just to you, but to other people. Like, damn, even though I knew you had a track record of being inconsistent or misusing people or whatever it is, it's just like, I'm gonna try to overlook that because I want to give you a shot to have your relationship with me. I want to give you a shot with me, not based on what I've heard. And it doesn't have to be as big as the things they did to someone else, but you just know that piece of it is still tied to that behavior or the BS you heard, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna let this ride. I don't have no words for this. I'm good. I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm not gonna even speak about this anymore, or I'm just gonna stop dealing with you. For me, I'm just at a point where it's like, no more. I need to let people know what they've done or why this is happening. Silence is not always a good thing. Sometimes you need to say something in order for the person to even have the knowledge. Whether they choose to implement it, they still need to know what the hell they did or why this is happening to them. And they can move forward with that information and continue to be on some BS. Or maybe they really didn't know that they were affecting people, or this was the reputation they have. This is what everybody's hush about. This is why people stop dealing with them. Or places too. Damn, I'm just not coming here anymore. It's like, no, do you let the people know, hey, you know, you losing a lot of business behind this, right? Whether they care or not, is it your place to be that consuming fire? And I say consuming fire because I think you need to let them have it. It's not a soft reply. It's not going in soft about it. Like, you know, I don't want to be offensive, so how should I say this? I think that it doesn't need to be that way. I'm not saying to go in and use all the colorful words, but I think they need to feel some pressure. They need to feel a level of irritation or frustration with what has happened. I'm saying intentionally don't kind of be like, I don't want to be upset, but you know you upset. I don't want to offend anybody. Yeah, you don't, but what has happened is taking you to the level where it's just like you said, breaking point. Nah, we need to talk. And this is what happened. And as a result of that, I'm not dealing with you anymore, or I won't be patronizing this place, or whatever it is. Yeah, because we've had stuff in the past when we talked about customer service and stuff like that. But I'm just talking about people just out there on BS, usually in your circles or new people you meet. And it's just like, wow, you don't know what opportunities were here. You just on some BS. I don't want to seem like we're talking about the same thing, but this is something that's happening in life. And sometimes you got to just kind of
revisit the topic.
Thank you. That's perfect for it. But it's just like, what the fuck? What is this? That's how I feel about it. It's like, what the fuck? Are you serious right now? Like, I'm so tired of this type of stuff happening, and I'm not even being mean or going off on anybody. But yeah, so that's what we're talking about. I said consuming fire. I like what you say. So the title of this is, are you at your breaking point? We may not put it out like that, but breaking point will be in the title because I like that.
I do agree with the fact that you said at some point you have to let people know what the offense is, but it definitely depends on the individual, because for me personally, I try to assess a situation before I go in on it. Like you said earlier, do I really want to waste my time explaining something to you? I don't think it really depends on how long I've known you or not anymore. But I will say I've probably been more quiet than I've ever been in my life. In my early 20s, even my teens. You say anything, I don't care who you are, you cut me off in line, I'm going to say something to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think me getting older has not really made my fire go down, but
you're just picking and choosing your battles now. You're using wisdom.
Yeah, definitely, because like I was telling you earlier, the stakes or the repercussions, I should say, are higher now. It's been times I can recall where just driving sometimes and somebody will honk their horn and they caught me on the wrong day, and I'll put my car in park and get out the car and just sit and look at them. Maybe a couple months ago, I think I told you about that. And so that's not necessarily reading somebody's rights, but at the same time, it's like if somebody's doing that repeatedly and they just don't know what frame of mind you're in or how many times that's been done. So I don't know if that's the same ordeal.
No,
I mean,
Lou,
the same kind of situation.
You extreme, man. You extreme. You park in the car.
I put my car in park and I sat and I stared at this guy. He went around me and I got back in my car, went behind him and sat, and I followed him.
We are not. I am not condoning that.
I'm not condoning it either. But
Lou is wilding. I tell him he's wilding if he does that. Because you don't
again,
know who he's dealing with. He's wilding.
I just said that it's a hit and miss sometimes, but ultimately you have to pick and choose your battles wisely. Obviously, the one that I just explained pertaining to traffic, that was just stupid. But in regards to situations for anybody, for that matter, whatever it is that you feel is something that needs to be addressed, only you know if you need to do that or not, because you know how you feel after it's been done to you. So depending on that, that's when you make the move to tell somebody. We live in such I don't want to call it a sensitive time, but it's almost like you have to be politically correct. And even with the people that you know, I feel sometimes you have to do that, because it's like, I'm not trying to step on your toes or hurt your feelings, but damn, sometimes that might be the very thing that you need to get some act right in you.
Yeah.
Because I have been playing the finesse chess game for a minute, and it's been a couple of times where I felt like an offense have came my way, where it's like, I really want to say something to this dude, or I really want to say something to this girl or this service rep based off what they're doing. But I sit back in my mind and it's like, okay, for 10 seconds of my day, do I really want them to just jack up my whole mindset?
Right.
And it doesn't really take a long time when I'm analyzing. So it's just like you sitting in and you just ask yourself, is this really worth another 10 or 15 minutes or however long it takes to address something? Even through text message, just coming up with the right words to say to somebody that done something that pissed you off, and it's like, yeah, nah, you need to get this work. You're still spending time trying to figure out what to say to that person, and you're trying to make sure you're letting somebody know that you're disappointed, because that's what anger is. Disappointed hope, right? That's your thing. But you want to make sure that you're giving them the message, not just giving them, why are you just hollering at somebody and they don't even understand where the anger came from. So I think you do a great job when you do choose to do it. You use your words wisely, and I think it still hits home to the person that's the recipient of that message. I think for me, that's my big thing, is giving somebody that message, and it's like they still twist that story. And that's where my mind be like, dude, I don't even feel like fucking telling you how I feel, because you ain't gonna do nothing but twist this story back around to your favor anyways. But I do understand the flip side of the coin is like, what whether you understand or not, or you tell your story walking, I told you how I felt. So at least you know how I feel, and it ain't being led to your own assumptions. Mm-hmm. You know exactly how I feel, why I feel that way. And if you choose to be in denial about what's been happening or what happened, then that's solely on you. I think the short answer for that is it really just depends on how that offense makes you feel on the inside.
Right.
And that's how you determine whether or not to address something.
Also, it's kind of a form of therapy, because I feel like when you said
I'm losing it, Doc.
Exactly.
I'm losing it.
Exactly, like Michael Douglas falling down, you know what I'm saying, or Silent Rage. I feel like, just in reference to what you said a few minutes ago about you put the car in park and you got out. And
yeah,
I'm like,
that happened a lot. I was tired that he met the right one.
Right.
or the wrong one.
And I say to you, you're wilding. But really, I feel like you're reacting. And you're reacting because of something got you to that point.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that encounter. It's like a lump sum of events that got you to, like, I'm putting this car in park. You know, my thing is I want to be proactive, not reactive. Even when we play chess, it's like I'm not reacting to you. I'm going to try to predict that if you do this, I'm already set up over here. So reacting and addressing something, that's what I think I'm trying to get to. And it became more clear to me while we're talking. It's not so much of consuming fire. As you said, my cup runneth over. I don't want to get to that point, but I have to let this off somewhere. And you don't want to let it off on the person that's just like the icing on the cake. You're not even the person that laid the foundation of this. You just tipped it over. This has been well in the making. I've been taking this from this person and people been doing me that way, or I've always been the person in this position. I always turn the blind eye to, you know, somebody saying they're going to follow through when they don't, or people saying one thing but their actions exemplifying something completely different. I just don't address it. I just fade to black. No, I don't say anything. I just go on my merry way, and it's like, oh, well, I'm just not going to do this anymore, or I'll remove myself from that. And in that, there's still this silent like buildup that's happening in there. And then that person catches you and you get you. The car is in park. That breaking point is like, this has to be addressed. And if you begin with, I'm gonna apologize in advance because it may not come off exactly the way that I want it to, but I need to get this off, because you need to know what you're doing. And I say that one is saved more so for people that are really close to you, that you're trying to salvage a relationship with, like your friendship, your family.
I've heard you do it with customer service reps because they're not the main person that caused the offense. But right. They work for the company, well, so they usually get hit the hardest.
Right, but I'll say, well, for them, it's like, I apologize in advance for my tonality throughout this conversation, or if it feels like I'm attacking you. I'm not. I'm just really frustrated with how this has been handled thus far. So I have that. It's almost like embedded in my memory to say that to customer service reps. And having been in customer service in different capacities for a great period of my life, whether it's social services or just straight direct customer service rep to a consumer on the phone, I just have an empathy there. It's just like who I'm talking to before we even start. They're answering with a greeting, or they're doing what they came to work to do. And they don't know me personally. They didn't offend me personally. So I just want to let them know before we even dive into this, I'm apologizing in advance. But this is for a constant offense that's happening. Somebody may come out in front of the house. I'm making this up because I'm not trying to single anybody out. But let's just say, you know, your neighbors every week leave trash in front of your house. Mm-hmm. You know, they throw trash out. They have visitors that park on your side of the street, and you go out and you just sweep it up and say nothing. Or their dog comes and he takes a crap,
and the owner don't pick it up.
Right, and they don't pick it up. So when you come out, your lawn is open, it's not gated. You come up and you know, like clockwork, I know their dog, he likes my lawn, he takes a crap on it, they don't pick it up, I'm going to go out and pick up the crap. At some point, this is not happening. Because we're neighbors, depending on how hot you are, and that's why I said I wouldn't want to react, because your reaction, you might explode. That's where my cup runs over. But that point where you like, oh my goodness, the knock on the door they get. Hey, yeah, I need to talk to you about your dog and how it continues to defecate, shit, whatever it is on my lawn, and you Just don't pick it up. You made it like it's my regular job to pick it up, and it's not. This is absurd. Why have you felt like it's okay to continue to do this? That's where I'm like consuming fire. Somebody else will be like, hey, you know, I just want to let you know, I've been picking up your dog's crap on the yard, and this is all the stuff you already know. Like, why are you trying to preface this where it's just so, I don't want to come off offensive, and inside you're boiling. I need to be in consuming fire. I need to let you know. In order for me to get this off the right way, it's like a therapeutic release for me. And at the same time, I'm really letting you know, you feel the irritation. You hear the tonality of my voice. Like, this is not where it's to appease you, or I'm tiptoeing around how I tell you about some bullshit you doing. It's not acceptable. This is what I'm asking the listeners. At what point is enough enough? No more. No more. You cannot keep doing this. You cannot at a job. I know you eating my lunch. I know you're touching all over my food. I've seen you with my Tupperware and stuff. You know, these are crazy things, but would you just ignore that? You got a sandwich missing. Like, you didn't write your name on it, but you know that's yours. You know, so now it's like, I'm going to write my name on it because I'm not going to say anything. And then the next week, they've just discarded the wrapper. So you see that in the trash and they put it on a plate. And you like, I know that's my sandwich. You know what I mean? I know it is. And they're eating it and it's almost like a standoff. Prove it. So those are things. And
I'm cold-blooded. Somebody out there eating your sandwich and know they ain't bring no sandwich to lunch.
When I worked in customer service, there was an issue repeatedly, and it wasn't happening to me because I just have a whole like weird thing with putting my food in the refrigerator with a bunch of other people's. Like, no thanks. I'll keep my lunch at my desk. You know what I mean? If I have to heat something up, or I'll go grab me something to eat. But I just didn't want people to have access to my food like that. Weird, because I've been told like, well, what about when you go to a restaurant? They've got access to your food. Yeah, but this is hit different. You know, these people aren't being paid to prepare my food, but they have access to it versus me coming to an establishment
and putting it in a refrigerator or something. Yeah.
Right. But this establishment provides foods. They've gone and gotten their food handler's card. They understand like my job depends on me not doing crazy stuff to the food. This is what I've been employed to do versus somebody randomly standing there like, is this your sandwich? Let me squeeze. Oh, this sandwich look good. I think let me smell it. Oh, put it like I'm just going way out there, but and that was something that was a big issue. It's talked about, but it's never addressed. Like, I know they're eating my sandwich, and it's like, so you're not gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying?
You're not gonna let that rock.
Yeah, you're not gonna ask like, hey, that right there, that's Italian meat. You know that right there, that's loppy cheese. I know the deli I got that from. That bread right there. If I can tell you what's on that sandwich, you about to get this work. You know what I mean? So those are just examples for you guys to get a better understanding of kind of what I'm talking about. But personally, I'm at wit's end with people saying one thing, but their actions reflecting completely opposite of what they're saying, or complaining about something and being the reason why it continues to happen.
That's the worst.
Yeah, and I've been so quiet about it. You know, if you have like a friend and she's like, I just don't get it. You see this on movies all the time, and the person's sitting there and you're screaming while you're watching it. Tell her the reason why she keep dealing with people like that because she's whack. Or tell them what you did. They're going to find out you did it anyway. You're yelling what's going on. You're not even a part of it. But, you know, it's time. If you care about somebody, and I'm talking about when it comes to family, man, let them know this just can't keep happening. And you cannot continue to operate at this level and say that you want to move in excellence. And you would not accept that from anyone else. That's the other funny part. What somebody's doing, they would never tolerate that from anybody else. Like, you know they wouldn't. But they're actively doing this to people, actively exemplifying this type of behavior. And you would never go for this. Like, you're really going to do that to you?
Crazy thing is they don't think that they actually be doing it.
No, they know. That's why I said for me, I'm at the consuming fire. They know because I've watched people identify immediately when something's done to them. I don't have time for people to not have follow through. You need to give me 2 weeks notice if we're going to do something because I have a schedule. I cannot lend my energy over here and help them, and they're not even appreciative. You saying all this, but like you say, Zero, that's you though. That's you. You were like that. You're the person.
You.
Exactly, that has no follow through. You're the person that asks for advance notice and get back to somebody a day or two before. What's the advance notice for? I don't even understand that. Or we all got to look out for each other. We need to work together and assist each other in being better. But then you don't create that space for that, especially with dealing with the youth. Us having kids, I've seen that so much with other parents. And this is like not even as of recent because the kids are adults, but I'm talking about parenting when they were younger. You will have adults clap their hands. Oh, you're doing such a good job. And oh, thank you so much for taking the girls, or you gonna drive them over here. That's what I'm talking about. You need to see more of that. But you never see them do it. You never see them extend their services, come and say, I'll be the person this time that does it. They just don't do it. As we call them takers.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand that they want that done for them. It's not necessarily like we need to see more of that done. It's I need somebody doing that for me. That's not my cup of tea. I'm not really that good at lending myself to other people like that. But man, you sure could do it. Like, I know we need more people like you, but I ain't one of them. Like, that's really what I feel.
That's horrible.
I mean, it is. It's no good at all, but I can't explain it no other way than people are just selfish. Like, when you say you can identify exactly what somebody else is doing, but you're doing the exact same thing that you're pointing out, that's just a selfish mindset, because you gotta know at some point, like, damn, I do that. Like, I've said this before, and I'm not exempt, but I've said when you can identify something in somebody else, it's probably because it's something that you do. Mm-hmm. So that's why you're able to see it so quickly. But, people be in denial or whatnot, or they know that they doing it and they don't care. Like you said, either you don't know or you don't give a fuck. They know. And it's like, I'm going to keep doing this because this is how I want to rock. It ain't about what I'm doing. It's about what I see you doing. I said another thing about scripture. When people read the Bible, they know the scripture and stuff. They take key components from the scripture. I got faith. I'm going to move in faith. But faith without works is dead. They leave the work part alone, but they have faith. It's like, you do know that you got to put in some work for your faith to work, right? Well, no, but I got faith he gonna do it though. It's like, no, man, all that go hand in hand. So I'm saying that to say, when people are walking around saying we need more of that, or it shows suck how people say one thing and they do a whole nother, but you sit over here saying I keep it 100, but you over here lying through your teeth every other day. It doesn't line up, and it's been like that since the age of man. And people will pick and choose what work for them and discard the rest, and they don't realize you're putting fires out there in the world, and people are noticing that, and at some point it's gonna come to a head. And that's why I said I come at this fork in the road where it's like, okay, if I tell you this, I'm gonna let you know exactly how I feel. It ain't no I apologize in advance for it. No, I'm gonna shoot this your way. And it's kind of like, I care how you feel, but I don't care how you feel at this point, because you didn't care about how I felt when you kept doing whatever it is you were doing. So it's just one of those things where you have to look at what's gonna keep you sane. You can't allow whatever these transgressions are for you guys in the world to fester. If it's an issue, you know that it can dictate how the rest of your day go, or even your life. It can be as extreme as your life, and only you know this. If you feel that coming, be proactive and let it be known before it gets to a point where you say stuff where you really don't care how you come off. Mm-hmm. Because that can be just as damaging as not saying nothing at all and just keep on letting it rock out.
I gotta let them know. Yeah, I just gotta let them know. I completely understand, and I'm in total agreement with what you're saying. Keep going back to that parking the car, but you said you've grown in some wisdom. Yeah, you say even day to day you're growing and understanding that you got to use some wisdom there, because other factors can come into play. You park the car. They have road rage, weapons can be involved, and it's just like, this didn't have to be like that. So you definitely want to pick and choose what you address. But for the most part, the part I said that it could be therapeutic, at some point, some things just have to be addressed, because you're going to react at some point. And these situations, be it somebody or a situation or a person at work, be it you dealing with something with your immediate family, or it's a place you constantly going into and you seeing the same employee do the same thing over and over. You can even do that stuff anonymously. Just let off on somebody. Like, let me just write this down. Because when you get a pen, it can get real ugly. For me, I start writing. It's like, whoa. You can start. Because
you got time to think.
Oh, that's what Yelp is for. Some places you leave the review, but I would be very detailed, from my waitress's name to her interaction to what made it to where I made sure that I won't be returning to that establishment. There are ways you can do it where you get it off and you detach. And that's why I said too, the consuming fire, because I'm to a point now where after I let you know, it's no, we
I
don't
don't
even
even want to hear
we don't
your
have to do this
response.
no more.
Nah,
We're
you
done.
good.
It's over with Drake. Done. We're done with it. So I'm going to let you know this. And afterwards, I don't even want to hear your side of it. I just want to leave you with this tidbit so that going forward, you don't do this to somebody else. Well, if you didn't know, now you know, or you understand that this type of interaction or what you've been doing with me got you nowhere. You got no, you're going nowhere fast.
I got you for 3 minutes.
Exactly. Was that Spider-Man?
Yeah. It was.
Hey, buddy. You're going nowhere.
I got you for 3 whole minutes. Yeah, the silver lining in what your particular consuming fire looks like is great compared to most people, because most people, when they had it up to here, they cup runneth over, they just cussing you out, they saying what they feel, and they just leaving it. I don't give a shit, blah 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 blah. At least when you're coming in, there's still a takeaway from it. Even the worst person, if you're looking to better yourself at some point, when you walk away and you heard this message or this text message or this conversation, because most people, they don't forget conversations like that. If you really listen to the context of that conversation that you had with those people, there's a takeaway from it if they choose to take it. There's some advice, some keep notes there. It's like, okay, let me really take my anger out how she came at me and really listen to what was said.
You put that aside.
Yeah, like when you do that and you pay attention, if you look yourself in the mirror, you can see like, all right, I fucked up. I made some mistakes there. And the fact that he, or you out there had enough compassion to let somebody know exactly what it is they've done, they can move forward. And even if they can't rekindle that relationship with you, they can go move forward and not have no situation occur again. At least not that way.
I understand completely, what you're saying, because you're right. When you just spaz out, that's that when you react. Like, I don't even care. I'm seeing red. I don't even care. And at that point,
it's no good for neither one of y'all.
No.
There's no resolve, because our ultimate goal is to have resolve, even with a misunderstanding between two people. When you seeing red, there is no resolve. I just want to whoop your ass at this point, verbally or physically. There's nothing to be fixed.
Yeah, that's the worst. But yeah, overall, the takeaway from this is go and reevaluate if your cup is runneth over. If you're at that point where it's like, I need to read somebody their rights and be a consuming fire, you may find that it's most advantageous or be therapeutic for you to go ahead and get this off before you end up reacting to somebody or going off, or like, I was just so tired of them. I was just, and this is like, damn. After everything dies down, you like, man, I really was out there.
I was gonna say, you ever had a situation where it was like you were so hot and you did all that ramping, and then you go home and be like, damn, I could have did that better, man. I've had situations like, I've done that in like flag football before, where I cussed this dude out. I was like, fuck you. I was like dropping all kinds of cuss words. And I went home, I was like, I look like a plum fool. Damn, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah, but it's always a buildup. It's that buildup. I think that's now where the consuming fire was relevant, because fire burns everything. So it's like, I'm a consuming fire. As to where it's like, nah, I'm going to address this. And I'm going to make sure you feel the energy of it. You need to feel the weight of it. And however that looks for you, within reason. But I can't even say within reason, because if you upset, you need to preface that conversation with, you really pissed me off. Like, I've had it up to here. This is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I'm so tired of this. Whatever it is, it's just like, or we not doing this anymore. Those are just some phrases you can start with, because it's just like, well, what? You get people's attention with that. We are not doing this anymore. I'm so done with you. I think it's okay to start with that stuff, or nah, we're not doing this anymore. It's not going to happen like this again. Or,
that shit is such a shock value. It's a shock value statement.
Yeah, you're just like, you know what? You about to get this work today. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to read you all your rights. And afterwards, there's nothing I want to hear. So I'm going to need you to go ahead and sit down or stand, but be prepared. Because after I get this off, we don't have to talk anymore. When you say stuff like that, it's like an attention grabber, but it also conveys to the person the weight of the conversation. Think about relationships when you hear that. We can't keep going on like this. I got to talk to you. Damn, you just said we can't keep going on with this. I'm so done with this. Ooh. Nah.
Well, it depends on how many times you said that. Now, hopefully you actually
Crying wolf.
Yeah, we don't want to advocate you guys crying wolf. So if you're saying it, you really need to mean it, because
I mean it.
Yeah.
I mean it like
make the change.
mean it like I'm done with you. Sometimes it's just healthier to sever or cut the ties with people, toxic people. It's just not even worth it, because I know the other part we didn't address is, what about if you're at that point where you told somebody over and over again,
Yeah.
I'm so like, I don't want to. Now you are at your boiling point. You are ready to be a consuming fire, but consuming fire may not be talking about it. It may be being about it. I'm going to have to do something different here. Let me exit stage left. Let me create some distance between you and I, because what I've been saying means nothing to you. You haven't changed any of the behavior. So I'm gonna have to make some moves for my peace of mind, health, mental health, physical health. Those are things I'm thinking about when it's like consuming fire. When you hold stuff in for so long, or you continue to subject yourself to perpetuated toxic cycles, that's crazy. I think you can lower your immune system and become sick with disease and stuff like that, because you're suffering in silence. Like, that's the worst. Somebody just holding it in, just suffering in silence and not addressing it, or they've addressed it and now they can see by a person's actions, or you keep visiting the same place and it's the same old thing going on. You're still subjecting yourself to that person or that place or that thing, whatever is happening, and that's not good for you. So I would say, even backtracking when I said about opening with those types of shocking statements when you're talking, but when you're beyond talking, I wouldn't even say like a shocking action. It's just like, I'm not even gonna talk about this. I don't want to be about it. I'm about to create some distance. I'm gonna make a move. I'm going to do what I need to do for my peace of mind, my mental health, because you're going to make me act that ass. I don't want to do that. And you're showing me, after I've talked to you repeatedly, that, you just who you are. It's nothing personal. It was like the scorpion and the ant. Scorpion and the swan. I'm sorry. The ant. Scorpion and the swan. If you haven't heard about that, the scorpion was trying to get across the river, and it asked the swan, could it get a ride on its back? Swan's like, no. I can't. You're a scorpion. You're going to sting me. Finally, the scorpion has convinced the swan to let him get on the swan's back and take the scorpion across the river. So the swan proceeds to go against their better judgment and get all the way over there. As soon as they get to the other side, scorpion stings the swan, gets off, and the swan is like, you stung me. Why would you do that? You said you weren't going to. And the scorpion replies, hey, it's in my nature. I'm a scorpion. You knew what it was. Like, come on now. And that's some cold shit too. I mean, by the way, that little fable or whatever you want to call it, that little story they're telling, it's like, imagine telling a little kid that and they're like, well, I don't understand what this really means. If you tell me you're going to do this, I need to believe it, or, But we can bring that up into like one of the great sayings I've heard for a long time. Maya Angelou, well, somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And especially if it's repeatedly done. I need to believe you are exactly what you're showing me. You're telling me something but doing something else. So if you feeling like you are consuming fire right now, or you feeling at your breaking point, it's like, these are some things that hopefully, like, now you know what it is you're feeling, because that's how I've been feeling. And hopefully, there's some things in here that'll help you or assist you with making a move in the right direction, so that you're not feeling like that, because it's the worst. Like I said, that's suffering in silence, or just sitting there rethinking, like, is it me? Like you said something a few minutes back, you were saying people will ask for something and they know they really don't want to do it. They want you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always, tried to, especially as I've gotten older. I didn't understand it when I was younger, but it's like, if I'm asking you something that I'm not willing to do, even in that maybe something that's comparable to it, even when I alluded always to dealing with the kids. Yeah, I might not be the one that wants to come and assist with finger painting in the class. I might not be that kind of mom. I'm not the kind of mom that wants to be in there 3 or 4 times a week, or maybe my schedule won't permit it. But I'm that kind of mom. What do you need monetary wise? Can I pay for supplies? Can I bring snacks? If I need to come and do the sign-in sheet where I'm signing people in and they going right past me, stamp some hands. I try to find out things that were comparable to what I knew that I really wasn't good at, or I really just was like, ooh, I don't want to do that right there, because I don't have the patience for it, or that's not my strong suit. But I'm still looking for ways that I can still be of assistance.
You came with a solution.
Yeah, so it's like, don't just be that guy, like you said, like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to do that, but I don't do that. Be the person, or be the opportunity, or be who you're looking for. Don't just be that person that makes my request known. And that's a whole nother topic altogether, but that's whack. Not even kind of, that is whack, when it's just like, yeah, I love when people do this, and I love when this happens to me and all. But it's like, when were you that to somebody else? When do you position yourself to be the giver, not just to be on the receiving end of something, you know?
I always laugh at the post that always talk about support. Yeah, people don't be supporting. They don't support this, they don't support that. It's been like, when the last time you supported somebody? So it all goes into the same thing, when we don't necessarily mean consuming fires and cussing somebody out or anything like that. It's just more or less letting somebody know what it is. Or like you said, if there's been too many times you let somebody know what it is, you just committing to an action now.
Well, if you want to keep this conversation going, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a suggested topic, questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at realfitradio@gmail.com. As always, we hope this inspired, impacted, or empowered someone. Until next time.